Well, hi YouTube, Brian James at Micro Four Thirds Guy with you once again, and it's been a while. It has been a while. I've been struggling to get out. I've been doing a huge amount of gigs over here in Cyprus because, as you may or may not know on this channel, if you haven't seen me before, I've moved across to Cyprus. I'm a dual national Irish and British citizen. I moved across to the sunny island of Cyprus on a permanent basis. I'm emigrating across here, and that's given me a huge amount of new photo opportunities. The problem is, I'm not getting out to do them. My wife's still not over here at the moment, so I'm waiting for her to come across next year. And a lot of the places I'd like to go and visit, I can't at the moment, because if I go and visit them, it's going to be, I was going to spoil it for when we go over together. So I'm waiting until next year when we can go out as a couple and see places. I have done some photography. I'm not put the photographs up here, but I did quite a lot of shooting at the Blue Lagoon up at Latchi, where you've got some beautiful, beautiful blue waters. I did do some videos about both that and my trip to Troodos. If you have a look on my other channel, which there's a link at the end, if you look at the end credits, there's a link to my Path to Paphos channel. But you'll find that there's some video from over there. But I did do some still shooting as well on that trip. Mainly family sort of stuff. My wife was over with her friend, and we went out on one of the boats. We also went up to Troodos and had a wonderful time up there, up in the mountains, seeing that sort of side of Cyprus, central Cyprus, up in the mountains. And also went across to Protaras and Ainapa on the east coast. And I've been taking photographs there, but I'm trying to limit some of the visits I do out until my wife comes, because I'd rather do them with her than go somewhere and think, I don't like that. When she comes, can we go there? No, you won't like it. I'd rather she was in a position where she can make her own choices, and every time she goes out, it'll be an adventure, and have the adventure together. So, has that stopped me taking photographs? No, it hasn't. I've done quite a bit of photography over here. I've got 3 cameras over here, my G100, my GX8, and my G9. I'll be honest, the G9 has pretty much stayed in the bag since I got out here. It's a wonderful camera. Don't get me wrong, it's a wonderful camera. But it's not suiting what I take photographs of over here. The camera which has been used most of all is the little G100. It's tiny, it fits in my pocket. It's got that wonderful little 12 to 32 f3.5 to 5.6 expandable zoom lens on it. And the camera's just small, neat. I can keep it in camera bag and keep it in my pocket without even noticing it's there. The GX8 I love, but it's a little bit bigger and bulkier, and it's been used, but used less. So it's interesting that about just how much a camera design and shape and size and weight can be important in just how you're using it. The GX9, if I was doing a proper photo shoot for somebody, if I was going out to do a paid job, I was wanting to do something where it's going to be used for some sort of archival purposes. You know, if I was involved in a club or something and they wanted me to take some photographs, the G9 would be the one I take every time. It's fabulous. Now, I don't have any of my Olympus gear over here, or my OMDS gear. I don't have any OMDS gear anyway, do I? That's all Olympus. I haven't bought any new OMDS gear. But I haven't brought any of that over across. But I am going back to the UK in November. On the 1st of November, I'm going back to the UK. And with that, I'm going to be picking up some of my Olympus gear and prime lenses. I don't have any prime lenses across here at the moment, and I'm really missing my prime lenses. I do like using a prime lens, a medium fast prime lens. I don't need to be going for the sort of f1.2s or f1.4s, but my f1.8 17mm. What have I got? I've got primes which I'm bringing across. I've got f1.8 25mm. Which is my nifty 50 equivalent. I've got 2 of those. I've got the Lumix and the Olympus. And the Olympus one, I think, is a vastly superior lens, but you do pay a lot more for it. I've got my f2.5 14mm Lumix lens, which I'm really looking forward to bring that across. That's a great little lens. My 45mm f1.8, that's going to be coming across. And of course, my 17mm. And all of those, except for the 2 Lumix ones I said, they're all Olympus. So it's Olympus 17, 45, and 25. And I'm looking forward to bringing them across. I'm really looking forward to bringing a lens across, which I've used across here already. And that's my 30mm Sigma, the f1.4. I did a video on that a year or 2 back, about 2 years ago, I think it was, when I bought that, and I love that lens. It is a really, really nice lens. Considering it's not from one of the main manufacturers, the f1.4 Sigma. It's I think it's one of the DG series lenses. Art, is it the art lens? I can't remember what it all is, but really, really good lens. Really nice. Not too big, not too heavy. It's heavier. It's bigger and heavier than some of the other lenses because it is one of those ones which shares its mount with other cameras, so you can get the same lens, the same 30mm lens on Micro Four Thirds, APS-C to in various formats, whether it's Canon or Nikon or whatever, or Sony. So it's one of those that Fuji, I think they do a version for it for as well. But obviously on the Micro Four Thirds, that makes it slightly more telescopic than the Nifty 50. It's equivalent to a 60mm lens. And I find that a really nice lens. So I'm looking forward to bring those. And I've got the baggage allowance, so I can bring all those across. Now that leaves a couple of bodies at home, which I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them. I have my EM1 Mark II, which has always been a really good camera. And I like it. I love it, in fact. It's a great camera. But is it going to be any better than my G9? No, it's not. Is it going to be worthwhile me bringing it? I'm tempted to move it on. Either give it to somebody in the family or to sell it on, because it's not giving me any real advantages over here. Of course, I've got things like the G1, the red G1, which is just about worthless. So that's going to stay in the UK. I'm not going to bring that across here. It's just not worth me bringing it across. And retail value, it's worth about 20 quid if I'm lucky. But it's a great little camera, 12 megapixel. And I've done reviews on it in the past. It's served its purpose. But I also have some other lenses, some other lenses I want to bring across, and they'll be useful over here. But I want to get most of my gear across. I'm missing a lot of it. But I started, instead of trying to do fancy photography and I've tried to move away from what I was doing. I think I mentioned this in a previous video. There's a Facebook group which I've joined, and I have to, off the top of my head, oh, they're after me again. The sirens are going. Something you don't hear a great deal out here, actually, in Cyprus, or the sirens, at least not in Paphos area. Usually when you do hear them, it's probably been a road accident rather than anything else. But no, I do a lot of sort of photography just for the sake of it. Things which I won't put up on the channel because they're probably just not going to be interesting for you. I'll look at strange shapes. I'll look at a lot of abstract stuff, which to me are really, really good photographs. But they are not your mainstream. They are photography just for the sake of it. And I'm starting to really enjoy that. I'm starting to enjoy taking photographs. You'll see a strange shaped door handle or something, and if you zoom into that and there's nothing else around it to give context, they can take on personas all of their own. I don't know if you do that at all. I don't know. I know we've got some specialist photographers who watch this channel into the birding or into nature or landscapes or whatever like that. And as I say, my specialty used to be portrait photography and some sort of commercial photography. And it's the commercial photography which has pushed me down this little bit. I do enjoy doing abstract stuff, something which in itself isn't a great subject. It could be something like a protruding screw from something, which in itself is nothing special, but when you put it in and you get real close up, I'm looking towards buy myself a macro lens. I did try some macro photography. In fact, I did a video on the 60mm Olympus macro lens, which I love, by the way. I think it's an f2 lens, if I remember right, but the 60mm macro lens. But some of the abstract stuff that I want to do, I think a macro lens would be really, really useful. I used to have a fascination when I was a kid. There used to be these, a program on TV in the UK called Ask the Family. And they used to do things like they'd zoom really close into something, and you had to work out what that something was from this incredibly zoomed in thing, which was taken out of context. It could be also the photograph was twisted around to a strange angle. So instead of looking down onto something, the normal angle you'd look at it, you'd maybe be seeing it from the opposite way. From the photo could have been 90 degrees or 180 degrees out. And that stuck in my mind, and I love those sort of things. If I can find an example, I'll try and put one onto this. But super close-up macro shots of everyday items. And I find those quite fascinating because, well, they make my brain work. They make my brain work, and I think they make other people's brain work that little bit harder. What on earth is that? Why is it that shape? How does it show, you know? And because it can take on a totally different shape to what it's expected to be, something mundane can take an innate beauty of its own. Something which is just a minor little part can suddenly look like a huge machine in its own right. And I love the idea of those things. Let me know in the comments below if you do any sort of photography like that. I'm really keen on knowing what you do photography-wise, if it's something unusual. If you do, I mean, you're more than welcome to give comment. Don't get me wrong. I love to read the comments about anything. So if you do want to leave a comment, please do. But I'm not so much interested in the comments if you're a landscape or a nature photographer things. But if you do something out of the ordinary, one of the things I was tasked with when I was doing commercial photography was to take photographs for a website of dentures, of false teeth. A company employed me to do that. And how would you show something like that, those off to the best? And it was things like using a black perspex sheet as the basis to put them onto, which gave a very mirror-like finish. It didn't look like a black perspex sheet. It looked like a wonderful silvery mirror underneath. But putting the mirror underneath didn't work. It gave the wrong sort of a reflection. It gave the wrong sort of highlight. This black perspex let light be reflected so you could see it, but it didn't cause glare. So things like that. But when you see some of those dentures in close-up, they look odd. So if you do anything unusual, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to know. But apart from that, I'm on my way back to the UK, as I say. I shall be doing some photography over there. And I'm really wanting to spruce this channel up. This channel's been somewhat abandoned in the last few months because, well, I've been doing between 4 and 6 gigs a week over here. That's a whole evening taken up where you can't go far away during the day anyway, even if you wanted to, because you've got work to do. And by the time I finish at silly o'clock in the morning, it's quite often I'm getting up at silly o'clock in the morning after being asleep. So it could be half the day is gone. And that's meant it's been very difficult to do videos for this channel. Plus, I've been very uninspired by the new releases. I look at things like 43rumors.com, and that's a great site, by the way, 43rumors. I do appreciate the fact that they put an awful lot onto there. It lets me keep abreast of what's going on in the photographic industry. But 43rumors, I've been looking at some of the product releases, especially around Micro Four Thirds, and I'm unimpressed. I think we've reached something of a pinnacle as to what we've got. I've said this on some of the videos about the OM3 and the OM1 Mark II and things like that in the past, where I feel as if there's less and less to inspire me, where, you know, the technology is all very nice and fancy, but it doesn't produce better photographs. But luckily, I've got a few things. When I return to the UK, actually, I have a few things which should be waiting for me to review, and I'm looking forward to those. I certainly know that there's a new flash unit to look at, and I'm talking about a few other people about doing some reviews, because I haven't done many reviews, and I'm not really interested in doing the camera reviews, but some of the equipment which is coming out, very few of it though, has inspired me. And as I've said in the past, if I'm not inspired to use something myself, then I'm not going to do a review on it. So watch this page, watch this channel, because I will be doing more and more reviews in the near future when I've gone back to the UK, because I find that a lot of the people don't want to send it to Cyprus, but they do want me to do a review from the UK. So there'll be a few things in the UK on that, which I'm really looking forward to. But also I'm veering away a little bit. So I have mentioned the video cameras that I use. And I got an awful lot of feedback when I said about where my motivations lie and if I can do more and more video. And some people said, stick with the Micro Four Thirds only. That's what I watch me for, and that's fine. I appreciate that. But it can get to the point where there's just nothing new to say. And you're regurgitating the same things. And I really don't think that's fair on you. So yes, Micro Four Thirds will still be my standard format. I don't intend going to any other fixed camera format, any still camera format, should I say. But I am doing video work quite a lot, and this is still photography. So the minute I've mentioned this, I've done a review on this in the past, my DJI Osmo Pocket 3. I'm not sure if I've done an Osmo Action 4. There is an Action 5 out, of course, which has been out for some time now. But I use those two cameras primarily. And I'm starting to get more and more into using some of the small, neat video cameras. And the gimbals, I've started using, you know, I've done reviews on gimbals and things in the past. So there'll be more coming out of that, more of the peripherals, more of the things which you can use to give a little bit of excitement on the side of your Micro Four Thirds. But also, I think Micro Four Thirds for me, it'll be something I won't leave now. I've talked to a lot of people who use other formats. I've got some very good friends who are Sony shooters. Keith, if you're watching, Keith, I know you certainly are. And Susanna, A7 user, A7 Mark IV user, getting some great results from full frame. But for me to go to a different camera format, for me to go to a full frame format, whether it be Lumix or Sony or Canon, never been the greatest of Nikon fans, or Nikon for the people who say it that way. I've never been the greatest fan of them. Not that they're a bad camera, it's just they've never really fitted into my ethos. I was Canon shooter for a long, long time, and I do still have an interest in Canon. But I think if I was going full frame, I would probably go Sony. I would probably go for one of the A7 series or the A9 series, and probably go Sony. But I really don't see the point for going for a heavier, bigger camera, which just for the sake of it, and having to replace the whole of my structure here, all my lenses and things. I was looking at my friend Susanna's camera she had the other day. She had a wonderful, I think it was a 28 to 105 lens on it. And I looked at it and it was a lovely piece of kit, but it was so big to what I'm used to. It was such a large lens. And at the moment, I'm now 64, I'm getting older, and less inclined to carry big, heavy cameras around. So that's where my thought patterns lie. Let me know, as I say in the comments below. I'd love to know that. These wonderful people, by the way, here are my Patreon patrons. And again, they've been rather abandoned recently. So thank you really to them, because they are super people who have helped support this channel all the way through. A couple of them have got their own channels, by the way. Have a look through the list. Freeze frame at some point on the list, and check out their channels, because they are really, really good people to have on board. But they've helped support the channel. And if you want to help support the channel in some way, you'll find that there's a Buy Me a Coffee QR code, or the link down below in the description. If you click on either that or the link, it'll take them my Buy Me a Coffee page. So if you'd like to buy me a coffee, that really would be appreciated as a one-off payment. And as I say, the Patreon, if you'd like the link, the Patreon page that's down below. But more importantly, perhaps for me on this channel, is give me a like, give me a thumbs up and a subscribe, and hit the notification if you're not already. It doesn't cost you anything to be a subscriber to the channel, but it helps so much. About 70% of my viewers aren't subscribers. And YouTube uses that in its algorithm to say, well, yes, let's put this out to more people to see, so I get more viewers that way, and more people see me on my channel. So thanks very much for watching. Again, sorry it's been a bit of a while, but hopefully a worthwhile wait. And until the next time, keep on taking your camera out. Keep on having fun with your photography. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.